Hi, welcome to the Myers Way. I'm Steve Myers, and I'm telling you what you need to know, not what you probably want to hear. And today's session is going to be specifically one of those. I know you don't want to hear it, but you just got to know this. You can't fool around on misclassification of employees, and you know what I'm talking about. Whether you call them independent contractors when they're really employees, just isn't going to work. Nice short-term solution, but the penalties are draconian. And like I said, you all know this. I mean, you can go down to, just look it up online. I mean, you know the factors. The feds have something about whether there's behavioral control, there's financial control, and the types of relationships. I mean, you know it. I mean, if it waddles like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it flies like a duck, guess what? It's a duck. They're employees. So let me give you the background about why this is really important to know. Here's the background. The IRS is losing money. If you're not doing the withholding, people aren't paying their taxes. You're not paying the employee shares. It hurts the state. It hurts the feds. States are getting really active in this area. I know in Colorado, for example, they're not sitting around waiting to catch someone, and you know what happens. You dismiss some employee and they're pissed off, and they go apply for unemployment, and they're turned down, and they said, wait, I was an employee with that company. And guess what? The investigation starts. You get a big frickin' audit, and you are in deep doo-doo. Colorado isn't waiting for someone to walk in. They're just methodically going through new corporations, old corporations, if they don't know anything about them, and they're just sending out notices and starting audits. And hey, like I said, it's all about the money. Well, it's also, I think there's a humane niceness to it. I mean, you know what, if your employee gets injured on the job, yeah, you may have some sort of premises liability, the contractor or the employee, but they're going in for workers' comp because they need long-term disability, and you're going to try to claim, well, hey, I didn't pay their unemployment and their workers' comp. Guess what? There are situations in which you, as the owner of your company, you can be held personally liable. One other interesting point, you, as the officer of the company, you are a statutory employee. Hello? And we can think about that if we may want to form a subchapter S corporation and perhaps get around that, and it's a direct pass-through. But think about that. You're calling yourself an officer, and you know what? You're a statutory employee. So penalties, I mentioned penalties. So the IRS, if you look at their pages, the total penalties when you're making up the back payments, and hey, go back 3 years, it can be 41.5% of everything you've paid to the so-called contractor. And then let's talk about states. California, if they decide it's just sort of, you screwed up, of course you did it, so it was willful. $5 to $15,000. And guess what? If they decide it was a pattern in practice, and you really did know what you were doing, and they just don't like you because you're sassing them. I'm sorry, I used to be a regulator. Guess what? The penalties can go to $10,000 to $25,000, and that's per instance. That's per each person you misclassified, and they're going to do an audit. They're going to come in. You think securities lawyers are expensive? Wait till you have to have an employment law expert, because guess what? You've got a hearing, and they said you had 15 employees times $25,000 plus the 40% of all the wages for the last year for all 20 of them. Hello, do the right thing, make them employees, so they can start making their payments to Social Security, get their benefits. There is that do the right thing component of it. Because again, when you weigh that versus the penalties, hello. So do the right thing, think about it, and even if you don't want to do the right thing, do it, because darn it, those penalties are severe. Thanks a lot. Sorry, but that's just the way it is.